Hi there, warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive and I'm Meghna Deka. Today we are going to invite you, the viewers, to connect with us directly and tell us and answer this SOS which is coming in from our whites in white lab coats. Yes, we are talking about the doctors and the doctors' attack which has been happening. Repeatedly there are promises which are being made, repeatedly there are protests which are being held, but at the end of it, these attacks on doctors continue to happen in India. Why? Why is it? Well, this, what you can see on your screens, is a gut-wrenching incident. This time around, this has happened in Chennai. An on-duty doctor, he was stabbed multiple times. Not once, not twice, not thrice, but 7 times. Repeatedly, an oncologist was being attacked by a patient's son. You can see that man on your screens. This savior who would save cancer patients, today he's fighting for his own life. Allegedly, he was stabbed 7 times by a man who was unhappy with the treatment that he had given to his mother. On your screen, so gruesome are the visuals that we have actually blurred out, and we have put some of the splatters of blood that you can see in black and white, but you get the gist of the severity of this attack which had happened. Remember, this doctor was stabbed 7 times by a kitchen knife. All of this by a man who was at the time posing to be a patient. This morning, the attack happened around 7:30 a.m. The accused, he has been identified as Vignesh. He reportedly attacked Balaji, who is a Chennai-based oncologist, over his grievances related to his mother's cancer treatment, which had happened in this hospital. You can see in this picture what happened after attacking. Vignesh even tried to escape. We got you those visuals of his escape. Let's tell you what the exact timeline of all of this was. How did the attack begin? Well, let's start right from the beginning as to what the timeline was. There you have it on your screens. An oncologist had been brutally attacked by a patient's son. In fact, this is the picture, the visuals of the oncologist being treated. Allegedly, he was stabbed 7 times by the patient's skin, and you can see the splatter of blood all over the place. The accused then came to the hospital posing as a patient. You can see pictures of him entering. He was carrying a huge kitchen knife, a butcher's knife, in his pocket. After attacking, Vignesh then tried to escape. When he was apprehended by the hospital security, you can see the visuals of him being apprehended. The hospital staff, the guards, they managed to chase him down and they managed to apprehend him. Those are the visuals of the main accused, Vignesh, being arrested by the police as well. So after the stabbing, the doctor, of course, is, even as we speak, fighting for his own life. Well, this is the tragedy of a man who was trying to save the doctors, or rather to save cancer patients. In fact, what is it that the Health Secretary of Tamil Nadu has said? Well, listen in to the reactions coming in from the authorities, but also at the end of it, we have to ask why authorities across states, across ideological divides of political parties are unable to save the doctors. Watch what authorities are saying.
The doctor is stable at this point of time as per the senior team, which is treating him. The doctor has already been provided all the necessary treatment that was required at that point of time, and he is recovering at this point of time.
How many spots was he stabbed?
I'm told by the senior team that at 7 places. That is what the senior team is telling me. As per the information which has been provided by the hospital, the patient's mother was under treatment for cancer in this super speciality hospital, and after that they have taken her to a private hospital, and she passed away, and I think he was quite enraged by that, and the police is still ascertaining what could be the reason. So it will be, I think, premature to say what could be the reason for that particular attack.
In fact, after this attack came to light, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has condemned the attack and has assured that a detailed inquiry is going to be conducted. Meanwhile, the Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Udayanidhi Stalin, has visited the hospital and said that his government will ensure that such incidents of attacks on doctors are not repeated. He even mentioned that the Home Minister is going to have a discussion with the Doctors Association.
இந்த நிலையில் இன்று மருத்துவமனைக்கு வந்த அந்த இளைஞர் டாக்டர் பாலாஜி ஜெகநாதன் அவர்களை கத்தியால் குத்தியிருக்கின்றார். இப்பொழுது அவர் தீவிர சிகிச்சை பிரிவில் கண்காணிப்பில் இருக்கிறார்கள். தற்போது ஸ்டேபிளாக இருக்கின்றார். இந்த ஒரு 2-3 மணி நேரத்தில் அவர் கான்சியஸ் வந்திருப்பாரு. மேலும் இதற்கான முழு விசாரணை மேற்கொள்ளப்படும். இந்த சம்பவத்தில் ஈடுபட்ட அந்த இளைஞர் காவல்துறையினரால் உடனடியாக கைது செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கிறார். இது மிகவும் கண்டிக்கத்தக்க, வன்மையாக கண்டிக்கத்தக்க ஒரு செயல். இந்த செயலில் ஈடுபட்ட அந்த இளைஞர் மீது கடுமையான சட்ட நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கப்படும். தமிழ்நாட்டில் உள்ள அரசு மருத்துவர்கள் அனைவர் மீதும் அக்கறை கொண்டது இந்த அரசு. அவர்களுக்கு தேவையான அந்த உரிய பாதுகாப்பினை கண்டிப்பாக உறுதியாக வழங்க வேண்டும் என்று நம்முடைய மாண்பு முதலமைச்சர் அவர் அதில் தெளிவாக இருக்கின்றார். கண்டிப்பாக சட்டப்படி நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கப்படும்.
We are inviting you, the viewers, to connect with us directly so that we can hear your views. Who's going to save our saviors? In fact, today joining us on the show, we have Dr. RV Ashokan. He is the president of IMA. Also, Dr. Rohan Krishnan is joining us, the chairperson of FAIMA Doctors Association. We have several of our callers also who are calling in. Before I go across to them, let me go across to Dr. RV Ashokan, the president of IMA. I know IMA has made several times, they have raised the voice of the doctors who are being attacked while on duty. Why doesn't anything change? There are protests, there are promises, but nothing changes on ground.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, doctor.
Yeah. We feel deeply let down. These incidents have become so common that they have ceased to be a news even. And the trust in the institutions of the country, whether it is the courts or whether it is the governments, I don't think any doctor in this country believes them any longer. We don't trust them. I don't think these superficial words that these chief ministers or the governments give us have never provided anything on the ground.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's across different governments, across different states. We've seen what had happened in Orjikor. After that, months of protests later, look what's happening in Tamil Nadu today. Let's call in, get in some of our viewers who've been calling in. In fact, Dr. Rakesh Sood is calling us from New Delhi. Prakash, Raghu, as well as Manu, several of our viewers calling in. Dr. Sood is calling us from New Delhi. Go ahead, sir.
I am really shocked with the recent attack on the doctor, but this is very common. It happens in all the hospitals all the time, and the authorities are least bothered. They will only come at the time the attack has taken place and say these things, like especially the chief ministers and everyone.
Right.
But nobody is interested in the safety of doctors. You saw what happened in RG Medical College. The case is still going on.
Absolutely.
Mamata Banerjee is still not looking into it. I mean, she is still, the same thing is going on. Absolutely no security for doctors at all hospitals in India.
Well, absolutely. And unfortunately, we are in agreement there that today the doctors themselves are unsafe. This man, of course, the doctor who was attacked in Chennai, he was an oncologist. He was saving cancer patients. Today, he's fighting for his own life. Think about it. Let me go across to our other viewers. Prakash Raghu is calling us from Chennai. Our viewer, go ahead, Prakash.
Yeah, the attack on any doctor is very condemnable. At the same time, attack on any human being is very condemnable. But at the same time, one must look at the background. Who owns these hospitals? And what kind of promises do these doctors give to the patients? And how the insurance system in the hospitals are being grossly misused by the hospitals themselves. What happens to the poor man? Does the poor man does not have any right to live? Only the rich have access to a proper treatment today, whereas the poor don't have. So it is political in nature, and a thorough investigation must be ordered as to who owns all these hospitals where attacks take place. This is
okay, that's an interesting conspiracy theory that you are saying, that let's probe if there is a pattern which is now emerging. Let me go across to one of our viewers, Manu, calling us from Hyderabad. Go ahead, Manu.
You and hello to your panelists also. See, it's very devastating. I come from a doctor's family, okay? So starting from my brother, father, everybody, and my sister-in-law, everybody are doctors. it's so devastating, and I can understand how the doctor fraternity must be undergoing right now mentally, because it's one after the other which continues.
Absolutely.
Now, my only submission is to Times Now is, I don't know, somebody has to file a petition in Supreme Court. I don't know how it works because I'm not a legal person, neither I'm authorized to say so. But my request that Supreme Court should be giving clear-cut mandates to every state with a timeline to, CCTV is, it only helps post the crime, It doesn't help when the crime is happening, because even if it is recorded in the CCTV, people are not around. So the prima facie, we need to have security arrangements like how it is done in airports. The frisking, the scanning, everything.
Oh, that's very important. So you are saying let's take preemptive steps, not just put up CCTV, which will help apprehend the attacker, but preemptive steps. Now, Dr. Rohan Krishnan, how do we do that? And if I'm not wrong, there have been similar pleas in the Supreme Court already. Even at the time of the RG horror, which was unfolding, the High Court too was involved, and these things were discussed. What were the steps which were given? What were the guidelines? Are they being followed? What's happening? Where are we going wrong?
At present, there are no guidelines. We have been continuously telling this, that there should be proper measures that are being taken in the manner of preventive measures. Like there should be some kind of checking of the patients and as well as the attendants, that there is no any heavy metal objects, as there is a security check in the railway stations and in the airports. Because right now what we are seeing, that the hospitals are not safe environment. It is not only just the doctors who are in trouble. Many a times there are nurses, paramedic staffs who are being treated as violently as possible. And as right now, some of the viewers just complained that there might be some nexus, and we have to dig deeper that why it is happening. So I must tell you that this is not just in an incident of private hospital. We are working in government setup, and from past 5-7 years, the incidents among doctors in government hospital is a matter of concern. RG Institute was also a government hospital.
Absolutely.
Recently, in University College of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, a patient was shot dead in the ward, who was admitted in the ward. So what kind of securities are there in the government hospital as well as private hospital? That is a matter of serious concern, and what the government is doing to prevent such incidents. Okay, you will catch whoever the culprit is, and then you can punish them, capital punishment or whatever the law decides. But the life of the doctor which is being lost, are we gaining that back? And
Absolutely
does any doctor will now want to treat serious patients? Because if we think that a person who's having mets in their body, the cancer was on the last stage, and I am trying to treat the patient, but the patient's son comes and kills me, then any doctor would ever try to treat someone who is on the critical side of the view, that it might survive, might not survive. What about the emergency care system? Where is this country going, and where is the mindset of the people are going? I think that media and the entire social platform should work on this, that the mindset of the people has to change. It is not that an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And I'm not saying that any doctor is not responsible in this. If any doctor is responsible in any malpractice, he should be punished. But you cannot punish all the doctors just because there are some incidents.
I absolutely agree with you. In fact, Dr. Krishnan, you've made a very important comment here. Imagine a doctor through his entire career would save hundreds of patients. You take that one life away. Think about the lives that he has saved when you threaten his life. In fact, let me go across. Several of our viewers have been calling in. Dr. Ram, Krishna, then you have Guru Raj, Captain Jaswal. I'll quickly go across to them. Dr. Ram, first we'll come to you. You're calling us from Chennai. What would you like to say?
Hi, good evening to the panelists. I have a slightly different take here. This is more in terms of a long-term strategy that I'm thinking of. So these kinds of strange incidents are inspired a lot from the movies that come out, wherein the aggressor takes in a lot of influence and inspiration from characters which often engage in such kinds of behavior, right? So if there is some kind of a penalty for all movies which engage in such kinds of things, starting from smoking, alcohol, how many hours seconds that it is being aired, or how many hours seconds the scenes that come up with such things where a common man kills or aggresses a doctor. If there is a penalty for such scenes in all movies, a monetary penalty, because people don't understand morality. They understand only money. So if you put a heavy
That's an interesting one. So you're saying penalize films, serials, anything which glorifies attacks on doctors. That's an interesting observation, suggestion coming in. There's also Krishna, one of our viewers calling us from Bengaluru. Go ahead, Krishna. Krishna, if you're there with us. Well, looks like we may have lost that audio connection. Guru Raj, another one of our viewers calling us from Bengaluru. Go ahead.
Good evening to all. It is really pathetic. Let us understand what about the cases for palliative death care units. The doctors are practicing doctors. They are not gods. Let's understand they are at par with gods, but they are practicing. We have to educate everyone that they are trying their best and they are the messiahs to all of us to help each one. Until unless we don't understand that, it's really tough for any doctor to take about 5 years for MBBS, then for their PGs, then for their specializations, and take such amount of risk. Why should they?
Absolutely.
That's the question mark each one have to think on. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. A very astute point that you have made. In fact, Dr. RV Ashokan, I'd like to ask you one thing. Whom does the onus of an on-duty doctor's safety really lie upon? Will it be the police force or will it be the hospital, the owners, the administration as well?
It's the hospital. It's very simple. Hospital is the unit and it is responsible for that. The hospital should be declared as safe zones. I have a feeling, see, we did not have any violence in hospitals before the patient was called as a consumer. It all became that I buy care, I have money. This attitude started from calling the patient a consumer. And from then onwards, it has never been the same. If you trace the violence in this country, it is all after the 1993 when the patient transformed into a consumer. So that relationship never grew up later.
Well, that's very interesting. The patient is a consumer and that is the kind of relationship which never really went back to what it used to be. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ashokan, for joining us, Dr. Rohan Krishnan as well, and all the viewers who've called in with your views. Hopefully, steps are going to be taken. Empty promises will actually be reflected on ground and it will mean more than that when it comes to saving our saviors.